The cost of kindness. Do you know that sometimes being too trusting of strangers can bring you harm? Listen to this story. It all started on a hot afternoon in Lagos. Tunde, a well-accomplished young man who lived peacefully with his lovely wife in a wealthy area of Lagos, was just on his way back home after a very long day. He owned luxury cars and was a very handsome man. While stuck in traffic, he noticed a woman looking distressed near the highway. A Lagos tout had attempted to beat her up because she had no money to give to him. Tunde's conscience wouldn't let him just drive past. He was a very kind man and hated to see anyone in pain. "Can I help you, miss? You look stranded," he offered. Her story was convincing. She was crying and told Tunde that she was a long way from home and had no money as her wallet had just been stolen from her bag. Tunde, being a kind gentleman, asked where she was going to. Amina told him that she was going to see a friend in Ikeja. This happened to be a 20-minute walk from Tunde's home, and he offered to take her to his home. Then she can walk to her friend's place, so that this will shorten her journey. Amina immediately thanked him and entered the car. She settled into the leather seat, looking so much at ease, like she had achieved something. They drove away from the highway chaos and angry drivers and arrived at the beautiful area of Lagos. Ikoyi. Tunde explained he was heading home after a long day and he was looking forward to see his wife. Amina smiled. She looked around at the beautiful neighborhood. He had heard so much about the prestigious Ikoyi and had dreamed of living there one day as a wealthy woman. Funke was arranging flowers in their bright, inviting living room when Tunde and Amina arrived. Immediately Funke heard the sound of the car. She went to the door to welcome her husband. Tunde introduced their unexpected guest and told his wife Funke about all that Amina had been through. Funke was touched by the story and felt sorry for Amina. Funke immediately offered Amina hospitality, as she was a woman who is always kind to everyone she meets. This was what attracted her husband Tunde to her. Amina accepted the hospitality graciously. She started looking around the expensive surroundings. Funke tried to make polite conversations with Amina, but Amina always redirected it back to Tunde. Tunde, eager to be seen as helpful, leaned in close to Amina, helping her and responding to all her questions. Funke watched from the doorway. The initial smile in her face began to disappear. Amina deliberately took her time when Tunde helped her with her bag when she was ready to go. She had rubbed some love charms on her hands, and she touched his hands with them. When she finally left, the atmosphere in the house felt different. The next morning, Amina called Tunde, claiming her mechanic was delayed. Tunde hesitantly invited her back, just for that afternoon, and offered to drop her back. Funke felt so uncomfortable about the situation. She could feel her heart fill with a sense of dread about the situation. When Amina arrived, she came with some manufactured tasks and begged Tunde to help her with them. She sat strategically in front of Tunde where he can see her well. After a while, Amina requested to use Funke's sewing kit for a quick repair, saying that her dress had just torn. Funke reluctantly agreed, watching her suspiciously. Later, Amina came out wearing one of Funke's expensive scarves. Tunde didn't notice, but Funke saw the audacity clearly. The violation felt like a declaration of war in Funke's mind. Tunde later dropped off Amina. He had a work appointment and came back home at night to find Funke sleeping. While he was trying to have a shower and go to bed, Tunde's phone buzzed softly on the nightstand. It was Amina calling. He waited until Funke shifted before sneaking out of bed. Then he sneaked out to the corridor and answered her in hushed tones. Amina spoke to Tunde in very hush, suggestive tones about her having a day out with him. The next morning, Funke questioned Tunde about the late call. Tunde offered a flimsy excuse about a business associate. Funke decided to track his outgoing calls later that day. She saw Amina's number listed multiple times during odd hours. The realization hit Funk. Amina was deliberately targeting their marriage. Amina came to their house again mid-morning, claiming to need Tunde's signature on a document. Funke watched from the kitchen, wiping down counters with excessive anger in her heart. Amina ensured she made prolonged eye contact with Funke. Tunde seemed oblivious to the underlying tension. When Amina finally left, the house felt heavy with unspoken words. Funke finally found the courage to confront Tunde that evening. "This woman is not welcome here anymore, Tunde. Stop seeing her," she said angrily. Tunde reacted defensively, accusing Funkay of just being insecure. He called her jealous, masking his own guilt with false anger. Funkay recoiled as she felt heavily betrayed. Tears streamed down her face. That was the day Funkay stopped trusting her husband Tunde. Later that night, Amina called Tunde again, playing the victim. "Your wife is attacking me just for being nice," she lamented dramatically. Tunde, weary from the fight, sought solace in Amina's company. He told her to come over to the house until her car is fixed. "This is my house," he said. "No one can make my guest feel uncomfortable." He promised her she could stay for however long she wanted to. Amina ended the call with a soft, victorious sigh. She headed to Tunde's home with her luggage. When she got there, Tunde opened the door for her. Funkay was asleep. The next day, Amina was using Funkay's personal bathroom. When Funkay walked in, she stopped dead in her tracks, not believing what her eyes was seeing. "What are you doing here?" Funkay asked, her voice dangerously low. Amina feigned innocence, pointing towards Tunde. Tunde walked in, caught in the middle, trying weakly to mediate. Funkay ignored both of them and went to the dining to have some food. Funkay decided to ignore both of them and live her life. Life moved on. Tunde continued his life signing huge business deals, and most times he was working late. Amina often brought him lukewarm snacks, positioning herself as his sole supporter. Funkay observed this shift in loyalty, and she was so heartbroken. Their conversations became transactional, without any warmth or affection. One day, Amina claimed she had a security emergency at her supposed relative's house, and he was very ill. She begged Tunde to come and keep her company there until morning. Tunde, feeling obligated due to her care so far, agreed to go with her. Funkay had no idea what was happening. She had come into their room and found Tunde quickly packing an overnight bag. She asked him where he was going, but Tunde ignored her. He avoided her gaze and mumbled about having so much responsibility. He said he is the man of the house, and she had no right to question him. Then he walked away, leaving Funkay lonely and heartbroken. Funkay sat alone in the vast, quiet living room, thinking about their marriage. She could not remember doing anything wrong to Tunde. She picked up her phone. Funkay fought the urge to call Tunde. She spent the night thinking of what could have gone wrong and blaming herself for letting Amina into their home. Funkay decided that she will wait until morning to confront Tunde, as this was a very strange behavior. Tunde returned just as the sun rose over Lagos. He rushed inside, eager to greet Funkay, but she looked at him and continued washing the dishes. "Amina's situation is resolved," Tunde announced with excitement. "Her relative is better now." Funkay didn't ask for details. She simply told him that she needed some space. Tunde looked at his wife Funkay and saw a sad and broken woman, but he did not care. Later that day, Amina arrived with several large suitcases. She said she had an issue with her landlord, and he asked her to leave the house. Tunde, flustered, didn't object strongly when she brought the luggage inside. He even helped her bring them in. Funkay watched from the upstairs landing, silent and horrified. Amina claimed she needed to store her luggage securely while she found a new place. Funkay knew what this meant. Amina was moving in, temporarily or permanently. Funkay confronted Tunde about the luggage. Tunde snapped, defending his actions as mere hospitality. He said that he will not stop being kind to people just because of Funkay. Amina walked past during the argument, intentionally touching Tunde's shoulder. Tunde smiled at her. Immediately, Funkay's eyes lit up. She realized that Tunde was enjoying the attention. Funkay retreated and decided to prepare for a life without Tunde. Amina thought about what she could do to make it look like Funkay was volatile. She went and poured away Funkay's pot of stew, saying she needed to use the pot. Funkay became very angry and shouted at her because she had just made the stew earlier in the morning and there was no more food to eat. Funkay screamed and cried, feeling trapped and unheard by Tunde. She called Amina various derogatory names due to her anger. She did not know that Amina was recording her. Amina quickly retrieved the device once Funkay stormed off. Tunde returned just as Amina was comforting herself over the argument. Tunde played the recording, calling Funkay unstable and a threat to him and Amina's life. Funkay realized the extent of Amina's desperation and manipulation. She turned to Amina screaming, "You recorded me? You evil woman!" She then turned to Tunde and screamed, "You brought this viper into our home." Tunde stammered, unable to defend himself. Funkay made her final decision. She was leaving. She went into their room and packed her bags. After packing, Funkay walked past Tunde, refusing to say another word to both him and Amina. Tunde tried to block her path, pleading for her to stay. "Don't do this, Funkay. I was just trying to be kind." She looked at him with immense sorrow, recognizing the stranger he had become. The door clicked shut behind her, ending their life together. Amina came out from the spare room with a huge smile on her face and so much confidence. Tunde turned to her, seeking comfort from her, but she was very cold towards him. "Don't worry, Tunde. She was always too dramatic for this life," she said casually. Tunde finally understood that he hadn't been helping a victim, he had been played. He demanded that Amina leaves immediately and return anything she took from the house. Amina ignored him, walking to the Home Office. Tunde was frustrated. He did not know what to do. Later that night, Amina logged into his personal accounts on his laptop. She had memorized his passwords. Before Tunde realized the extent of her access and theft, the money was gone. She had moved it all into her crypto account. He found out that she had even stolen their family heirloom. She had taken every of value, leaving him bankrupt. She hid his mobile phone so that he could not contact the police or bank. Tunde rushed outside to attack her, but a waiting black SUV was waiting for her outside the gate and a huge scary man inside. Amina walked out of Tunde's house, carrying all the spoils of her deception. She turned back to Tunde, smiling cruelly. "I should have stayed with you only if you had remained loyal and silent, but I guess my charm has started to fade," she hissed. Wen was too shocked and frozen to speak. When he finally pulled himself together, the car had sped away, taking his fortune and his home with it. Tunde rushed inside looking for his phone. He turned the house upside and finally found his phone. He rang his bank and the police. They promised to begin investigations right away. He tried to call Funkay's number, but the number was disconnected, just as he feared. He checked social media, hoping for a trace of her presence, but she had blocked him. Days later, he found a brief post from their mutual friend. Funkay had relocated to the United States, as she also held an American citizenship. The knowledge that she was building a new life without him was crushing. Tunde wandered into the master bedroom, which now empty. Funkay's side of the closet was completely empty. Even the family photos were gone from the mantelpiece. He realized Amina must have taken sentimental items too, part of her supposed revenge and destruction. The silence confirmed to Tunde that his happy home was now destroyed beyond repair. He could not concentrate at work, so he lost his job. His business also failed as he had no money to fund it. Bills started arriving, stacked high on the entryway table. The bank could not help him, as they shared that the crypto account the money was moved to also had his name. They refused him emergency credit, citing the recent massive withdrawals. He stared at a receipt left behind by Amina for a very expensive jewelry he couldn't even have been able to buy for Funkay. He now had foreclosure warnings for his home because he was in massive debt. Tunde sat in his car, unable to start the engine, paralyzed by debt. He lost his home and moved into a one-bedroom apartment. He realized that kindness without wisdom often leads to ruins. Thank you for listening to this amazing story. Please let me know what you think in the comments.